The race for the White House officially over.
Look, I am so proud of the race we ran and the way we ran it.
I will govern by a simple motto: promises made, promises kept.
The focus on the future tonight.
Giving parents a choice or robbing public schools. A heated debate as the governor's voucher bill heads back to the State House.
A mother of 4 fighting to get her children back.
It's hard, and I'm about to cry.
Why the woman the state asked to take the kids is becoming this mother's biggest advocate. Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
We begin tonight with breaking news. Metro Police arresting 2 men in connection with a mass shooting near Tennessee State University during the homecoming celebration back on October the 12th.
Well, the shooting in a crowded area of Jefferson Street is where it happened, and police say 31-year-old Corey Johnson and 23-year-old Kayahan Hayes Woods are accused of firing guns that night. 1 man died in the shooting. 9 other people got hurt.
We help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country, and we made history for a reason tonight.
History-making political comeback. President-elect Donald Trump surviving a criminal conviction, 2 assassination attempts, and a late-game opponent switch to win the 2024 election. Good evening, everybody. I'm Scott Couch.
And I'm Megan O'Halloran. President-elect Trump sealing his path to victory with the 270 Electoral College votes, and for the first time claiming the popular vote.
This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. Every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future.
Vice President Harris making the call to officially concede the race and congratulate Trump earlier today.
Now, millions of Americans hope to see a glass ceiling shattered with an African-American woman winning the White House, but it was not to be for Vice President Kamala Harris.
Now I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power.
Vice President Harris says she will continue to fight for democracy, the rule of law, and equal justice for all Americans.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee congratulating President-elect Trump on his Facebook page, saying there is no doubt our country will be stronger with President Trump in office. He went on to say he looked forward to working with Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance to ensure Tennessee's continued prosperity.
What was the deciding factor for you? What brought you to the polls?
Continuing coverage on the presidential election, including the results here in Tennessee. Voters and community leaders still reacting this evening to Donald Trump's victory.
Well, Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker with what voters on both sides of the aisle have to say.
Voters reflected on the last 4 years, what they thought worked and what didn't work. But now the focus is on moving forward. How do we do that, and what will it look like?
Hot button issues bringing voters to the polls.
He's going to stop illegal immigration. He's going to save our economy. He's going to fight against China. But really what he's going to do is he's going to make it easier for young people to live the American dream.
Stevie Giorno of the Tennessee Young Republicans calls the last 4 years a disaster, citing rampant inflation and an open border. While some Democrat voters were optimistic about a future under VP Kamala Harris.
Increases of unionization, wage increases, support for expanding health care, support for public schools over charter schools.
For the next 4 years, Brett Windrow of the Davidson County Young Democrats expressed hope for a more moderate Trump administration.
The high tariffs that are inevitably going to hit these steel towns and struggling communities, the villainization of immigrants in minor communities, the proliferation of guns, and the increase in crime that brings.
While Giorno wants to see world peace restored.
Donald Trump is the only president, I think, in 3 or 4 decades that had no new wars. And we see what happened with President Biden. We had Russia and Ukraine. We've had the Middle East.
In his victory speech on Wednesday, President-elect Donald Trump promised a brighter future. And veteran political analyst Linda Schatt says America will get a clearer picture of the next 4 years based on who the president picks for his cabinet.
The GOP will own the Senate, the Supreme Court, and it's looking as if the House. That's an awful lot of concentrated power. And that's why you want someone who can moderate the use of that power.
President-elect Donald Trump will be sworn into office January 20th of 2025. For now, reporting in Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, in tonight's Fox 17 News viewer poll, we asked, were you surprised by the results of the presidential election? The results so far here on your screen, over 1,000 people weighing in. 81.3% of respondents say no, they were not surprised by the results of the presidential election. 18.7% say they were. This poll is live right now, so there's still time to cast your vote. You can scan the QR code there on your screen. It will take you over to our X page where our handle is @Fox Nashville, and we'll show you updated poll results here tonight at 10 o'clock.
Fox 17 News taking you beyond just the election results. You can see our entire interviews with the candidates on the Fox Nashville YouTube channel. And while you're there, we invite you to subscribe.
If the school voucher pilot program wasn't successful, then why are you pushing it?
Tonight in Crisis in the Classroom, Fox 17 News pressing state leaders as school vouchers will once again go before state lawmakers. While some say this is about parental choice, others say it robs public schools.
Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar now live outside our state capitol with both sides of the voucher debate tonight.
This new school voucher bill is almost identical to the previous bill that was unsuccessful last year in the Tennessee legislature. Republicans remain hopeful, but some Democrats say it's a scam.
The push to bring back school choice returns, allowing parents to use taxpayer money for private schools. 2,000 students would get vouchers worth around $7,000 each. Half of those vouchers would go to students with parents on a fixed income. The other half would go to any student, no matter their parents' income. Democratic State House Representative John Ray Clemens says the focus should be on public schools. He is concerned with a drop in enrollment and pulling tax dollars from public schools into private hands.
Well, we're strongly opposed to the defunding of our public schools, the redirection of tax dollars that are intended to support and fund our public education system being sent to private entities and private schools.
Governor Bill Lee addressing that fear.
This bill is designed to ensure that no public school system will lose any funding at any time as a result of disenrollment.
The school voucher program also would include teacher bonuses and public schools construction.
The problem with tucking school construction dollars and teacher bonus dollars into a voucher scam bill is pretty offensive.
As of now, $144 million is in the state budget since the last proposal didn't go into effect. Opponents of the bill wondering why the money was used to fund private schools in the first place.
If the money was there, why didn't that money go in directly to help public schools instead of being tacked on as an incentive to this bill?
Well, what we want to do is fund public schools robustly, and we want to give parents choice at the same time, and that's why we have funding streams that allow for both.
Critics say that the school voucher pilot program was unsuccessful. However, Governor Bill Lee tells me that it has been successful for parents whose children are using that program right now. Reporting live in front of the Capitol, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
To see the continued debate surrounding school vouchers, go to fox17.com and search vouchers.
Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' ongoing commitment to you, our customers, our viewers, to expose problems in our schools and also to look for solutions. If you have a story you think we should be covering, tell us about it in an email. Send that to news@fox17.com, or you can also call our tip line. You see the number there at the bottom of the screen, 615-266-4149.
It's been a wet afternoon today, a muggy day as well, but picking up some much needed rainfall. And as anticipated, a lot of that has been north and west of Nashville. This is just the past 24 hours, 1, 2, even 3 inches of rain in certain spots. And we're still seeing some of these showers as the front slowly begins to move into Middle Tennessee. A few pockets of rain here or there. A lot of this again is going to be west of I-65 for tonight. That is where the front is at the moment and will be where it stays as we head through the overnight hours. So if you're west of 65, chance for a few showers, but the good news is severe weather is not going to be an issue for us. As we go through the overnight, even here in Nashville, we could find a few of those showers around. That should last all the way through the morning hours. But these are really going to be spotty for the next couple of days as we continue to find a little bit more of a stormy pattern in play. Now, with the front right over us in the cloud cover, you can see how mild we are, with the exception of Hopkinsville and Clarksville, a little bit cooler due to being on the other side of the front. We're going to talk more about the showers on the way for tomorrow and how the stormy weekend is shaping up for us on your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Thank you, Katie. A mid-state mother fighting the state for custody of her children. Why the kid's former foster mom is rallying around this mom.
And riding a red wave, what President-elect Trump's second term may look like.
Plus, state lawmakers pushing a constitutional amendment to ban a statewide property tax. Why they say it's necessary and the hurdles ahead. Fox 17 News investigates a mid-state woman's battle with the Tennessee Department of Children's Services. They took her children almost 5 years ago. She believes in error.
Well, Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin spoke with the mother and the children's former foster mom on why they feel the kids should be back home.
This mother tells me she's tried to make every effort to show she's capable of taking care of her children. She's been to therapy, psychotherapy, and passed a positive parenting class. But the fight to get her children back continues years later.
LaShante Reeves of Murfreesboro hasn't had custody of her 4 children since August of 2020. Why? Because a juvenile judge found evidence to believe Reeves' now ex-husband abused their infant child. Reeves says her baby had been in the hospital for several days.
They let me stay in the room with him. I took care of him, changed him, fed him, everything. I never left that hospital room with him. And then after the second day that I was there, my husband calls me and tells me that DCS is there to take the rest of my kids, with no explanation on why.
According to court documents, the Department of Children's Services believes Reeves was not home at the time of the alleged abuse. Reeves says she had no idea, and as soon as she found out what her then-husband allegedly did, she left him. The court documents also reference previous rib fractures in the healing stages. Due to safety concerns, DCS took the 4 children away from Reeves.
They're saying that I should have known what was going on in my home. How am I supposed to know when I wasn't home? My kids aren't telling me nothing. He's not telling me nothing. I am completely blind to the situation.
Jessica Lana fostered Reeves' 4 children. Lana is all about reunification when it's safe to do so and allowed Reeves to see her children.
She definitely stood out to me from the beginning because she would contact me. Does the baby need formula? Do you need diapers? Do you need clothes? She made sure her other kids were squared away with clothes, toys.
Lana says Reeves would be on video chat with her children for hours, helping them with their schoolwork or reading books. Lana says the children were always asking to see their mom.
How would you describe her as a mother?
Great. I wouldn't have any reservations with her having her children, and I stated that since the beginning. This mom cares, she's attentive, she contacts. So I've dealt with a lot of families that their parents just wasn't present. This mom was constantly present. Every single day she's reaching out. What do my kids need? What can I do?
Due to federal and state law, the Department of Children's Services cannot comment on specific cases. However, a spokesperson for DCS says, quote, "Our utmost priority is the safety and well-being of children in our care and the families that we serve." Reeves says separation from her children is heartbreaking.
It's hard, and I'm about to cry, but it's very hard to be without my children, because I want to be able to be there with them when they wake up and when they go to sleep, if they're confused about something, like, I miss my kids dearly. And being apart with them, like, I feel like something's missing. I feel like there's a hole in my heart.
Lana says she thinks the decision to keep these children separated from their mother will be detrimental to their well-being with constant trauma. The mother's custody hearing is expected to start on December 19th. Reporting in the studio, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Another mild night thanks to a bit of humidity out there and the cloud cover associated with the front that's around. Starting off with a pretty picture here from our Nissan Stadium camera. And can't rule out a few showers here in Nashville for the overnight. A lot of the rain, though, for the overnight hours, again, will be north and west of us. New record high for today, though. This seems to be a pattern. We are looking at temperatures still in the 70s, which for tomorrow is still a good 7 to 9 degrees above average. But today we did reach a record high, 80, the new record high. Record set back last year, 79 was the high temperature 1 year ago today. For tomorrow, we are looking at more of this scattered rain, kind of a humid, damp day, but it is going to be a feast or famine type thing. Some will see rain, others won't. And I know we all really do need those showers as we remain quite dry from a very dry fall season. The setup for tomorrow, though, does keep the frontal boundary right over Tennessee as we continue to pull in a ton of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. Some of this aided by Hurricane Raphael, which we will touch on a little later. We're pulling in moisture from the Gulf and the storm itself, which will continue to feed in sort of this humid atmosphere that we're in. Tomorrow, we'll look at mainly cloudy skies. I mentioned it's a feast or famine type of rain. Future track doesn't bring in much rain here to Nashville, but we will see some spot showers throughout the day. Otherwise, cloudy skies. Temperatures hold in those low 70s for the day. Notice as we head through the overnight tonight, again, the line of showers starting to pop up really where that frontal boundary sits. Everyone to the east of that is going to stay dry for the most part. As we get through tomorrow midday, this is right around noon. A few pockets of rain around. The good news is severe weather's not on the table, but we'll have some quick downpours. We had a few of them even here in town this evening. That continues through 3, 4 o'clock, but notice that the rain chances do begin to taper off as we head into Thursday night into Friday, which signals a brief halftime from our stormy pattern. Friday is looking dry, but it returns as we head into the weekend. We'll discuss that more, how it may impact some weekend plans, and more on Hurricane Raphael, where it's headed, all coming up.
Donald Trump won the election. So now what? I'm Kayla Gaskins in West Palm Beach, Florida, with a look at what happens next.
And a plan to ban and keep lawmakers from ever passing a state property tax. How this would work and what critics say. Well, now that voters have spoken and have decided to send Mr. Trump back to the White House, what will his second term look like?
Well, that's a question. Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins is in West Palm Beach, Florida tonight with a closer look, and we want to know what you think. You can let us know by scanning the QR code that will appear on your screen during this story.
Please welcome President-elect Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump using his victory speech in the early hours of Wednesday morning as a look to the future.
We're going to make this so great.
Once in office, he's promised to tackle top issues he campaigned on, such as fighting inflation, fixing the economy, and securing the border.
We're going to have to seal up those borders, and we're going to have to let people come into our country. We want people to come back in, but we have to let them come back in, but they have to come in legally.
Trump has also promised to increase tariffs, a move he says will boost domestic production. Critics, though, fear it will make inflation worse as the cost gets passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices. Trump also taking a moment during the victory speech to highlight those who helped him win.
Unbelievable people standing by my side. I hope that you're going to be looking back someday and say that was one of the truly important moments of my life when I voted for this group of people.
Those who stood by him could be potential cabinet members, such as Elon Musk, Democrat turned Republican Tulsi Gabbard, and billionaire Vivek Ramaswamy. Trump giving a special thanks to his vice president-elect, J.D. Vance.
He's turned out to be a good choice.
Well, Mr. President, I appreciate you allowing me to join you on this incredible journey. I thank you for the trust that you placed in me.
Trump's main goal, he says, is to undo all of President Biden's policies and pick up where he left off 4 years ago. In West Palm Beach, Florida, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
During that story, we had a QR code linked up to this poll asking the question tonight, why do you think Donald Trump won? The choices here in order of importance from the voters tonight was the economy and inflation, border and immigration, experience, and will change Washington. As you see, the top priority there is economy and inflation. Thanks for voting.
Tennessee lawmakers are advancing a constitutional amendment that would ban statewide property taxes. More on this and the reaction it's receiving coming up next.
Also, we had a mandate from the voters, what Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell says you will notice first after the passage of his transit plan.
Let's limit what the government can take from us.
That could be really detrimental for our state.
In the economy tonight, a plan to permanently ban a state property tax in Tennessee will go before the State House and Senate. It would amend the state constitution and is getting plenty of reaction. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller live from the state capitol with how this would work. Caitlin.
Megan, Tennessee does not currently have state property taxes. That's reserved for the local government. But some supporters want to make sure that the government does not get involved with this in the future, while others believe that there are some loopholes that could be very dangerous for our state.
Take a look at this resolution, where Tennessee lawmakers are pushing for a constitutional amendment to ban statewide property taxes permanently. Rob Mitchell, Rutherford County Assessor of Property, says he's wanted this for the last 8 years after he noticed the state constitution left the door open for this tax.
Let's limit what the government can take from us. This is something they're not taking right now, so let's just make sure they never do.
But State Senator Heidi Campbell says no one on the state level tried changing it in the last few decades in the legislature.
Tennessee isn't doing this, and there's really no need for the constitutional amendment. It hasn't taxed property for decades.
But Mitchell argues if you don't need it, then why leave it in the Constitution, especially when the General Assembly could levy a tax.
It's easy to raise taxes, especially taxes on somebody else to spend it for things that they may not want.
But Senator Campbell explains the franchise tax, which is a tax on corporations, includes a component of the property tax. And she emphasizes this could have major impacts.
If we pass this and somebody decides that this is legally applicable to that, we could lose millions in revenue. And every time we do something like that, it also threatens our bond rating,
which Campbell says would hurt Tennessee.
If this resolution is approved, then Tennesseans will have the opportunity to vote on this in the 2026 ballot. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
In Sumner County, 53% of Gallatin residents vote in favor of a half-cent sales tax increase. City leaders said a no vote would have left them no choice but to raise property taxes. The new higher sales tax puts Gallatin's rate in line with the city of Hendersonville.
New tonight, Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell reveling in a mandate from voters. They backed his transit plan almost 2-to-1 at the polls yesterday. But the mayor's tonight tempering expectations because he says it will be a while before this project has any real money behind it.
It's impossible to argue something has to be done about Nashville traffic.
We've got the worst commute in the nation, according to Forbes, and now we'll be doing something about it for years to come.
That's Mayor Freddie O'Connell enjoying a mandate from residents who overwhelmingly supported his transit plan. In broad strokes, he had asked for a half-cent sales tax increase to fund a gamut of improvements, new sidewalks, synchronized traffic signals to reduce stops, and improved bus service. But the mayor says you won't see the city moving dirt right away.
Metro will begin receiving money from the sales tax surcharge this coming spring, nearly 6 months from now. And the work that starts today will ensure we're ready to begin implementation of the year one elements of the program as soon as funds are available.
Until then, O'Connell says WeGo will roll out a low-income fare program to get more people on buses. If you qualify for food assistance, you'll qualify for subsidized rides. And the city is now advertising for a new chief program officer to oversee this 15-year program.
We will provide at least quarterly updates to the Transportation and Infrastructure, Budget and Finance, and Planning Committees of the Metro Council, and will conduct annual audits of the Transportation Improvement Program and present the findings to the public.
Speaking of which, a lot of public input went into developing this plan. Mayor O'Connell says that will continue with a new Community Advisory Committee. We'll keep you posted on that.
Fox 17 News investigates more drivers charged with DUI without a drop of alcohol in their system. It's an issue our Fox 17 News investigative team first broke back in February, and since then we've discovered that it's happened more than you'd think. Judges dismissed about 12% of DUIs in Tennessee. So far this year, according to data obtained by Fox 17 News, some of those drivers are fighting back, like 30-year-old middle school teacher Jeff Adams. Goodlettsville police arrested Adams for DUI, even though he asked for a breathalyzer test, hoping to be cleared on the spot. But we found most Middle Tennessee police departments no longer use breathalyzers, opting for a blood test instead. Nearly 6 months after his arrest for the alcohol and drugs test, it came back negative.
I've had less than 5 traffic infractions in my life, and then to be arrested for a DUI, and you have to explain that to your own kids, you know, and worry about it getting out to the school system.
Thursday on Fox 17 News at 9, Kelly Avellino shows us how Adams and other sober drivers are fighting back.
Still to come tonight on Fox 17 News at 9, next man up, the latest Titan to be placed on the injured reserve list, and who is ready to step up and take his place.
And a live look over downtown Nashville tonight as we prepare for the start of the second severe weather season. What our Code Red chief meteorologist has to say straight ahead.
All right, let's talk Titans, fresh off a win over the Patriots this past weekend. The team is on the road, headed to the West Coast to take on the LA Chargers on Sunday.
Well, it won't be easy as the Chargers have been heating up lately and the Titans are battling injuries. Fox 17 sports director Jill Jelnick has more on the matchup, including who was moved to IR.
Tennessee Titans will hit the road this weekend and face an LA Chargers team that's won 3 of their last 4 games and has a quarterback that's heating up at the right time. Justin Herbert has already surpassed 1,700 passing yards this season and has 10 touchdowns, including 2 that came in their most recent win against the Cleveland Browns. Head coach Brian Callahan says that Herbert is one of the premier quarterbacks in this league. He can throw it deep, use his arm strength, also use his wheels, and the key for the Titans defense on Sunday, trying to bottle up that explosiveness.
He's really good at getting the ball down the field. He's a good athlete. He's a good runner. He's a really, fantastic quarterback. There's really no other way to put it. So we got a work cut out for us there, and he's a huge reason why that team is in the position they're in, is because they're playing good defense and they have him at quarterback.
He's a top quarterback in the league. He's arm talent. He can throw the ball anywhere on the field. That's what really separates him from a lot of guys, and he'll use his legs as well. Can't sleep on those.
He's a great quarterback. He's a great quarterback, and like I say, we worry about ourselves and what we got to handle, then we worry about our opponent later.
The Titans officially placed 2 players on the IR Wednesday, center Lloyd Cushenberry and safety Quandre Diggs. To help add depth at the safety position, the Titans also signed former Bills safety Mike Edwards. The 6-year veteran is excited to come to Nashville and will play wherever the team needs him to.
It's a team I always look at Tennessee, no matter who's out there playing, they go hard. I've practiced against them a couple times. The joint practices get crazy, so I know how they are with the practice and everything. And then just watching them on film, like I said, a very hard-fought team and very sound and coachable. and they do the right thing all the time.
As far as the Titans quarterback situation goes, head coach Brian Callahan telling us that Will Levis will be back again at practice this week, and they will see an uptick in his reps. Now, he won't make a decision yet on who will be the starter for Sunday's game until Levis has gone through a full week of practicing. Reporting from the Titans practice facility, Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
I'm Atrell Nashar at Howard University, where Vice President Harris delivered a concession speech in front of thousands of disappointed supporters. Her message for them and the nation coming up.
And coming up, we'll talk more about the potential for any cool down. It's been so warm. I'll let you know if I see any cooler weather in the forecast.
Here in Tennessee, we can have severe weather any time of the year, but we have two main severe weather seasons coming up. I'll break it down month by month.
Tonight, Vice President Harris is looking to the future, vowing to continue fighting for Americans after a loss to Donald Trump.
Fox 17 News' Atra El Nashar tonight reporting from Howard University, her alma mater, with a post-election message for the nation.
Vice President Harris appearing on the same stage she hoped would be the setting of a historic victory. Instead, with a heavy heart, she thanked the thousands of people in the crowd for placing their trust in her and officially conceded the race.
The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright.
Despite the outcome, Harris says she's proud of the race they ran and the way they ran it.
I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept the results of this election.
Sharing the message she passed on to President-elect Trump.
I told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power.
Harris thanked her family, running mate Tim Walz, volunteers who were all there in the audience, as well as President Biden and poll workers across the country. Now, looking toward the future.
While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign. And we will continue to wage this fight in the voting booth, in the courts, and in the public square. And we will also wage it in quieter ways, in how we live our lives, by treating one another with kindness and respect.
Vice President Harris also had a specific message for the young people watching. She repeated a quote we've heard throughout this campaign, and that is, when we fight, we win. But this time, she added, sometimes that fight takes some time. At Howard University, I'm Atrell Nashar.
Some evening showers moving through today and even some fog developing.
Yeah, a little new development. We have a dense fog advisory that's been issued, but it's just for one area, and it's actually they just issued this as soon as I was like, you know what, I bet there's some fog developing out there. Sure enough, they issued the dense fog advisory. This is going to be for the area that is on the other side of the front, so we haven't seen a lot of rain for places like Rutherford County, Murfreesboro, McMinnville, Cookeville. And that's where things are mild and still pretty humid. So fog is easily going to develop in these areas. In fact, it already is. This is a look at the visibility tracker here, and we're now down to less than a quarter mile in some spots. So thick fog developing even in portions of Cookeville to McMinnville and Crossville. In fact, live look here from our Cookeville Drama Center camera. Not too bad here. Again, where we see this fog develop, it will be patchy across the area, but where it does develop, it could be thick, and that will be the case through tomorrow morning, again, mainly east toward the Cumberland Plateau. As far as temperatures go, I've been getting this question a lot recently. where is the cold weather? We have been well above average for a lot of fall. In fact, I did some number crunching. 65% of our high temperatures for the months of fall, meteorological fall, September and October and into the beginning of November, have been above average, and a lot of them have been well above average. So we do still see pretty warm conditions as we head through the next 10 days, 8 to 10 days, 8 to 14 days, in fact. This is our temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. It takes us all the way up to the 20th of November, and it looks like we are going to be dealing with well above average conditions. Now, that's not to say that we can't have a cool snap here or there, but overall that trend does look to be warmer than average. By the way, we have not had our first killing freeze yet in Nashville. We did see temperatures well below freezing out towards Clarksville already this year, but we have only been down to 37 degrees. That has been our coldest temperature for the fall so far. So we have yet to see a killing freeze, which is important because it kills off those bugs, puts them to sleep through the winter months. All right, quickly, we're going to take a look at Hurricane Raphael. Pressure 969 here, max winds at 105. It has passed over Cuba and is still a Category 2 hurricane. So we'll put it in motion. Big track shift from yesterday, where it looks like it is going to shift more westward due to upper level wind patterns. And along with it, it'll start to break apart. Wind shear will do a number on this system and will likely slow down and break apart as we head into early next week. It is still something we'll want to keep an eye on, but for now, it does not look like it is going to be a problem for us here in Tennessee. We take a look at your extended forecast. 70s the story, scattered showers and thunderstorms both Saturday and Sunday. We're getting more into that part of the season. If you're new to the area, you may or may not know that we are in a secondary severe weather season as we head deeper into the winter months. To talk more about that, here's meteorologist Brett Luna.
If you're new to Middle Tennessee, we get severe weather down here, and we sometimes get it quite a bit. But our main severe weather season is in the spring. So check this map out. This map is a breakdown of how many tornadoes we've had across Middle Tennessee and southern Kentucky since 1811. For March, April, and May, we're in the triple digits. 174 tornadoes in March, 229 in April. That's our biggest year. And then we've had 194 in May. During the summer, things usually calm down a little bit, except for last summer. That was quite an active one. And then they'll start to pick back up again around this time of year. We're in our secondary severe weather season right now. We've had 76 tornadoes so far in November since 1811, and then back in 2018 on November 5th and 6th, we had 10 tornadoes. That was an active day. 4 EF0 tornadoes, 4 EF1s, and 2 EF2s. The strongest of those, that was a long track tornado. That was the one down in Franklin County. That tornado down there was on the ground for 30 miles, and now December has become an active month too. It ranked last in tornadoes until about a decade ago, and in 2020, we had 5 tornadoes on December 5th and then 16 tornadoes on December 10th and 11th. And then I'm sure a lot of y'all might remember last year, December 9th, we had 7 tornadoes that day. The strongest was an EF3 in Clarksville. So if you've recently moved into the area, definitely a good thing to keep in mind that we can really get severe weather any time of the year around here, but the 2 most active times are the spring and the fall.
Brett, thank you. Just ahead, election night threats, what security experts say they noticed.
And reproductive rights on the ballot, the decisions Americans made.
In election news this year, only minor disruptions. This according to the director of the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency.
Well, there were some issues in battleground states like Michigan, but leaders say there was no widespread concern related to election integrity.
But it was not without incident. We are aware of non-credible bomb threats that targeted some polling locations in Washtenaw, Wayne, Genesee, and Saginaw counties. The FBI has issued statements officially confirming that those were tied to Russia.
Well, the FBI set up a command post in Nashville to respond to any election-related threats. That office remains open until tomorrow, but so far no reports of any issues in the volunteer state.
Abortion rights amendments passed in 7 out of 10 states where the issue was on the ballot last night. This comes more than 2 years after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, which ended federal protections for the procedure. Arizona, Colorado, New York, Maryland, Missouri, Montana, Nevada all established a right to an abortion in their state constitutions. Similar measures, however, failed in Florida, Nebraska, and South Dakota.
A symbol of patriotism, strength, and freedom in America. How Tennessee wildlife experts helped heal this bald eagle.
Hi there, I'm Fox 17 News This Morning anchor Erica Glover. We're talking about the election and Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell's massive transit plan passing. But what's next? We're asking the mayor for a breakdown, including when we can start to see the changes being implemented. We'll have the details Thursday on Fox 17 News This Morning.
Take a look at this. An American treasure, a bald eagle, getting a helping hand from Tennessee wildlife officers after being injured in the Cottage Grove area in Henry County.
Really beautiful. TWRA says the eagle suffered a head injury, but after a week of rehab over at the Paris Landing State Park right by the river, the eagle obviously doing well and released back into the same area in which it was rescued. All right.
Dissecting the results from the presidential election. I'm Christine Frizell with a look at how women voters factored in.